Hey guys, happy Monday. So by now a lot of you have seen the post that I posted on YouTube last week telling my story of how I was coerced into an abusive situation for a long time and then how I got out. If you haven't seen it, you can find it on YouTube and the link is in my profile. I really want to talk for a minute about some of the ways that I was spiritually manipulated. I think it's so important that we have conversations around the false beliefs that are being taught in the church that are destructive to people's lives and that are keeping them deceived and that are even grooming them to be able to be abused. I love the church. I'm fighting for the church. I have a wonderful church that I'm a part of, but I think that if we don't talk about these subjects, people are being sabotaged and taken advantage of because of people using supposed biblical principles to manipulate. I just want to talk about one thing today, and that is the concept of blind faith and blind obedience, because that is the number one ploy that this man used to manipulate my mind and convince me that I needed to walk away from everything I had ever known and follow him blindly. He professed to be and presented himself to be a very strong Christian after I met him and he found out just like how dedicated I was to the church. He started going to church with me and my friend that had introduced me to him. He introduced himself to the pastor. He set himself up as someone who was like super involved in church himself. And I didn't know that he was using narcissistic tactics of mirroring to make his life look like it matched my values so that I would be more attracted and find the lifestyle and the offer more alluring. When he put pressure on me verbally to leave everything and follow him, he used the principles of blind faith and blind obedience and basically said that if I wasn't willing to give up everything, then I wasn't going to make it. And he made the opportunity look super seductive and super like it was going to fulfill all of my dreams. But then he also used this ploy of making it look like I didn't have what it took if I wasn't willing to leave everything behind. And he used scripture verses to back up everything that he was saying, verses that I was familiar with and concepts that I was familiar with. I just think this subject is so important because there are people that really believe that Christianity is a walk of blind faith and that there's so many things that you'll never know and that you just have to trust. There's so much conversation in the church around blindly following leadership and around blindly following God. And I don't think that that's biblical. I understand the concept because there are a lot of times when you have to step out in faith into the unknown. But God does not ask us to step out in faith without having first proved his faithfulness. And that is such an important point that I really want to drive home because this would have saved me a world of trouble. I would not have been deceived if I had understood this principle. Everything that he asks me to step out blindly into, he asks me to do it based on his faithfulness, based on how he's provided for me other times, based on how he's come through for me in the past. That's his nature, and that's also what he requires of anyone who walks in leadership for him. So he would never have asked me to follow someone who had not yet proven themselves to me. The word says, and I think it's Jesus that says, you will know them by their fruit. And that is such a key verse that refutes every claim that you should blindly follow church leadership. No, you follow church leadership that has proven their fruit. So if I had known that and understood that principle, I would have insisted that this man give me time to show himself faithful and to show that he was who he said he was. And instead, I committed to him before he had proven himself. And by the time I realized that he wasn't who he said he was, it was too late. So these are really, really important truths that are being misappropriated in church and used to deceive and manipulate people. And we have to talk about these things because people are being sabotaged and their lives are being destroyed because of it. You will know them by their fruit. Follow me as I follow Christ. There's so many good verses about following people who show the fruit of having lived a life of service, having lived a life of sacrifice, having lived a life of integrity and character. And once you see their fruit, and as they continue to show that fruit, that's when you follow them. And that's when you choose to listen and to respond to opportunities that they may present to you.